More than 60,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since the war began in October 2023. And the investigation continues after a gunman from Las Vegas killed 4 people in a New York City office building yesterday. Good morning, I'm Noor Ram from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. A group of United Nations-backed experts on hunger issued an alert this morning, saying, quote, the worst-case scenario of famine is currently playing out in the Gaza Strip. But as NPR's Emily Fang reports, the group stopped short of issuing a formal famine declaration.
The alert by the global initiative, the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, or IPC, warns that, quote, widespread starvation, malnutrition, and disease are driving a rise in hunger-related deaths. The World Health Organization says more than 60 people died of malnutrition in July alone, more than 20 of them children under 5 years old. For hunger to reach the famine threshold on the IPC, the panel says it found at least 30% of children experiencing acute malnutrition. The panel used data collected up to 4 days ago, before Israel started letting in more food to Gaza. So the group said a new analysis would be conducted without delay and updated data. Israeli officials have denied there is starvation in Gaza and have blamed Hamas for stoking chaos in aid distribution. Emily Fang, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
Gaza's health ministry says more than 60,000 Palestinians have been killed since the war in Gaza against Hamas began in October of 2023. It did not say how many were militants or civilians, but about half were women or children. Investigators are learning more about the man that walked into a Midtown Manhattan office building with an automatic weapon yesterday and killed 4 people before killing himself. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says it appears he may have picked that building because of one of its tenants.
We have reason to believe that he was focused on the NFL agency that was located in the building, and we're going to continue to investigate with our federal partners.
Adams was interviewed on MSNBC's Morning Joe. He said the 27-year-old man from Las Vegas was carrying a note saying he blamed his mental illness on playing football, and the NFL doesn't do enough to protect players from the effects of head injuries. He said police also found an additional weapon in a car that was parked outside. A suspect is in custody in Reno, Nevada, after a shooting at a casino yesterday. 3 people were killed and 3 others were wounded. President Trump's defamation lawsuit against Rupert Murdoch and the Wall Street Journal has turned personal. As NPR's David Folkenflik reports, Trump's legal team wants to get the 94-year-old media mogul under oath soon.
The 2 titans of the American right have been political allies for the past decade. Murdoch's Fox News, the New York Post, and the Journal's editorial pages have largely served as pillars of support for Trump. Now Trump wants a judge to give Murdoch just 2 weeks to be deposed, saying it's uncertain whether he would show up at a trial. Trump says he warned Murdoch not to publish a story, saying Trump sent a bawdy birthday message 2 decades ago to the late Jeffrey Epstein. Trump says he did not draw or send such a note. The Journal is standing by the story. Outside lawyers say Trump's case is flimsy, yet he has won big settlements from the parent companies of ABC, CBS, Facebook, and X for suits that were similarly deemed as weak. Now Trump is putting his former ally Murdoch on notice, too. David Folkenflik, NPR News.
A federal judge is blocking the Trump administration from defunding Planned Parenthood. NPR's Katie Riddle reports the ruling may help protect essential health services in some communities.
The Trump administration was attempting to stop Medicaid reimbursements to Planned Parenthood clinics across the country. It is part of the administration's recently passed policy bill. Specifically, it mandated that if clinics provided abortion care, they could not receive Medicaid. But it is already illegal to use federal funds to pay for abortions. Essentially, the change in law would have prevented clinics from providing basic health care, like cancer screenings and access to contraception. The judge wrote in her decision that the law unfairly targeted Planned Parenthood and called it, quote, legislative punishment. Katie Riddle, NPR News.
Some of the Venezuelan men deported from the U.S. to El Salvador are describing their stay in a maximum security prison. As Sergio Martinez Beltran reports, the men say they were beaten, sexually abused, and denied adequate food.
One of the men is 19-year-old Carlos Daniel Terán. He was sent to Secot in March as part of President Trump's mass deportation efforts. That was hell, says Terán. He says guards at Tecoch stomped on the men with their heavy boots and hit them with batons. He says one time they shot at them with rubber pellets. El Salvador's government did not respond to a request for comment. A spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security called the allegations, quote, false sob stories. The Trump administration paid El Salvador $6 million to house the men. The White House said they were gang members, but many of them, including Terán, do not have a criminal record in the U.S. Sergio Martinez Beltran, NPR News.
Rescue and relief efforts are underway in Beijing. The Chinese capital and surrounding areas were hit by heavy rain in recent days, causing floods and landslides. At least 38 people have died. Tens of thousands of residents had to seek higher ground. Officials say there's a risk of more flooding through tonight. 20 states and Washington, D.C. are suing the Department of Agriculture over its demand for the personal data of tens of millions of people who applied for food assistance. NPR's Jude Joffe-Block reports the USDA had told states to turn over the data by tomorrow.
The USDA's unprecedented demand includes Social Security numbers, birth dates, immigration status, and addresses of people who applied for the food assistance program known as SNAP over the last 5 years, as well as information about their households. USDA says it needs the data to check for waste and fraud. California Attorney General Democrat Rob Bonta said guardrails already exist.
SNAP recipients provided this information to get help feeding their families, not to be entered into a government surveillance database or be used as targets in the president's inhumane immigration agenda.
The Trump administration has taken steps to share Medicaid and IRS data with immigration enforcement officials. Jude Joffe-Block, NPR News.
I'm Nora Rahm, NPR News.